Let's focus on the war of words, shall we, for a second, between Paul Merson and Jose Mourinho. It has to do with Harry Kane. Craig, I wonder your thoughts. Effectively, the case that Merson makes is that Harry Kane has to look elsewhere if he wants to find that ultimate success. Jose Mourinho comes out, lists every striker he's ever managed and every goal that striker has ever scored. He may have messed up a little bit on the stats. Does Merson have a point, though?
Well, I didn't see exactly what Paul Merson said, but I envisage it's to do with having success. And the bottom line is, and I saw Jose Mourinho trot out all the players and stats from Milito to Ibrahimovic to Ronaldo and others who all scored, a lot of goals from. But what you should remember is at the times those goals were scored, those particular clubs were either dominating or close to dominating not only the domestic leagues but European football. And what we have here is a player who is on, the short list for most of the top clubs to be the outright number 9, probably the first in line behind Robert Lewandowski. And here we have him at a club who are a long way off success by the looks of it, who are not playing a very enhanced style of game, and that's been seen since Jose Mourinho came in. And I don't doubt for 1 minute, and I've seen it in his body language and before the lockdown, that Harry Kane looked dejected in some games because Tottenham were playing so deep. So you can rattle off all these names and all these goals, but those were clubs that were having success. Tottenham at the moment are going to be lucky if they even get a sniff of the top 4. Never mind challenging Liverpool and Man City. And that's the big issue for Harry Kane going forward, particularly at his age. He's at his prime and he's got a big decision to make, I think, in the next few months.
Ian, Mourinho had all the stats to back up his argument. What do you think?
Yeah, they weren't accurate, though. I think he gave Drogba about another 113 more goals. But I think he quoted his number of appearances under him. But anyway, leaving that aside, of course, I'm just thinking that the lockdown must have been agony for Jose Mourinho because he went 3 months without being on the back pages. So here he is. He's done a press conference that's going to put him back on the back pages tomorrow, having a spat with a high-profile pundit like Paul Merson. But it's just Mourinho being Mourinho, really. All those players he quoted, they've got goals all through their career. And Harry Kane will get goals all through his career as well. Once he's up to speed again, I think he's got 7 in 10 games under Mourinho. He'll keep scoring. But Craig's right. Next season is going to be interesting. If Spurs misfire again next season, Kane's already been on the record as saying he isn't going to stay at Tottenham for the sake of it. His quote, watch movements, I'd say.
Ian, we opened the segment starting about Manchester City, the team they faced to kick things back off. Arsenal, it seems like everybody on this show has had their chance to tee off on Arsenal. You actually broadcast that match. What did you see from Arsenal?
A lot wrong, really. The mentality, I think, is wrong. They got into that spat with Neil Maupay, blaming him. And I think it was just the frustration boiling over there. They were with a quarter of an hour to go at Brighton, leading. It looked like the points were in their pocket, but they found a way to lose the game. So Mikel Arteta needs some heavy backing, I think, in the transfer market. He really does, to get this club up to where they want to be challenging for Europe. This is 2 defeats since they came back. Okay, anyone can lose at Manchester City, but not many people lose at Brighton. Arsenal badly needed to win that one. Now they've lost their goalkeeper. They've got a stack of injuries. They need to go out and buy in the summer, but I'm really not sure whether Arsenal have the spending power to do that.
Craig, you might say it's easy to pick on Arsenal, but they give you so much to choose from.
Well, we're talking about Arsenal Football Club in 10th place in the Premier League. It's just not acceptable. I agree with Ian. I think he needs to be backed heavily, but I don't think he'll get it. And I think there's a big question mark over his success going forward as an Arsenal manager or as a manager. He's a very inexperienced person in that particular role, although he's been about football all his life, but so have many, many people. Look, how do you sell it to Pierre Aubameyang, who there's been lots to talk about him potentially leaving? How do you sell that club to him when he's, around about, 30, 31, and he's going to have the next 3 or 4 years, he wants to really push on? How do you sell where Arsenal are going to be? The signing structure and the signing policies at this club have been a shocker over the last few years. An absolute shocker. They've made some of the poorest decisions out of all the top clubs around Europe. On top of that, they've got a soft sell to their squad, to their team, to their spine. And then on top of that, as Ian mentioned, they've got an injury to Leno, who's a very experienced goalkeeper. Their next game's coming up. They're away at Southampton. They play Norwich, and squeezed in between, they've got an FA Cup quarter-final at Sheffield United. It's a big 3 games for them. Lose those 3 games, and they are right in the mire. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did, because I'm not convinced with this squad of players, to be quite frank. They're a million miles off challenging for the top 4, which is what Mikel Arteta said when this restarted. We still have a chance of the top 4, not a snowball's chance.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.